Hello friends, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today I want us to discuss about Venn diagrams under set theory. A Venn diagram is a visual representation of the relationships between different sets of items. It consists of overlapping circles. For example, here I have got a circle for dogs, cats, and birds. Well, these overlapping circles, most of the time, they represent a set or group of items. Well, these Venn diagrams are commonly used in mathematics, logic, statistics, and other fields to illustrate concepts such as intersection, union, and complements of sets. And as promised on the video, I have a bonus question on sets. So stick around and I'll show you how to solve it. Otherwise, welcome. Earlier, Venn diagrams can be used to solve questions on sets. For example, in this particular diagram, I have a Venn three-way Venn diagram for dogs, cats, and birds. Well, I'm going to explain to you how we interpret these Venn diagrams. For example, a dog has got properties like bark, like water, and cats have got properties like meow and retractable claws. Well, some of the properties that are in both dogs and cats are they both have fur, they have claws, and all of them can be pets. What about birds? The same. Well, on the other hand, birds only have two legs and they have a beak as well as wings, which is not present in dogs and cats. So you see, in a nutshell, a Venn diagram is able to explain for us properties or functionalities that are only in specific entities. All right. Well, apart from the three-way, we have a two-way Venn diagram as represented. I'd like us to look at an example and how we implement Venn diagram when it comes to sets. What is a set? A set is a well-defined collection of objects. Objects could be anything: cars, schools, ideas, numbers, etc. For example, in this particular diagram of mine, we have the set A having the following elements 1, 2, and 3. Set B having the following elements 3, 4, and 5. Well, I want to explain how we use these particular Venn diagrams in sets. The first concept is to understand union of sets. Well, the union of a set A and B, as illustrated, is the set of all the elements of either A or B or both. What am I talking about? Well, look at set A. It has got elements like 1, 2, and 3. And then in set B, B has elements 3, 4, and 5. If I were to get a union, then it would be all the elements present in A and all the elements present in B, and it would be represented as AUB, with the U in between representing a union of all the sets that are found in both. Now, let's take a look at the second concept, an intersection of sets. Well, here, we only look at common elements in both set A and B, and most of the time we represent it as A with an inverted N, like A intersection B, and then you'd put your answers in curly braces. So, for example, we realize that in this example, 4 and 5, these particular elements are present in both set A and set B. Therefore, the intersection between A and B is 4 and 5. You see, that is different from a union. And then the last concept is disjoint sets. When two sets X and Y, or in this case we have A and B, are said to be disjoint if the intersection is empty. In short, they are sets with no common elements. For example, set A has got 1, 2, and 3. Set B has got 5, 7, and 9. So there is no common element. Therefore, we say that A disjoint B is equals to null. All right. Well, I want to give you an example of how we can be able to use Venn diagrams to sort this particular problem, so that you can be able to understand and appreciate Venn diagrams in set theory. The question is, a market research and development department investigated consumer preferences for 3 brands of their beverage. We have coffee, tea, and cocoa in Nairobi, and gathered the following information. The sample size is 800 consumers, 320 took coffee, 245 took tea, 325 took cocoa. 30 took all the 3 beverages, 70 took coffee and cocoa, 110 took coffee only, and 185 took cocoa only. Well, what is required of us is to represent this particular information in this paragraph in a well-labeled Venn diagram. Hence, use the diagram to determine the 4 questions below. Now, what is the trick? How do you solve this in the shortest time possible? The first thing that we need to do is to create a summary. Okay, the first thing that we need to do is to create a summary. For example, I have a short summary here. I know very well that 320 took coffee, 245 took tea, etc. But now, how will I be able to determine the first question, those who took tea only? Remember, cumulatively, 245 people took tea. Okay, so let's do it practically in a Venn diagram. And the trick is always to start from the middle. For example, now we know that 30 people took all the 3 beverages. So what we're going to do is the first circle is going to represent coffee for me. Then maybe I'm just going to give it a label. So should add another A. In order not to waste a lot of time, I'll just copy paste this all over. Okay, copy this object. The second is going to represent tea, and then finally I'll have cocoa as the last bit of this, cocoa. Okay, so we know that 30 people took everything. Okay, 30 people took coffee, 30 people took tea, and inside the number 30 also took cocoa. All right, now that we have that sorted, the next question would be how do we determine those people who took tea only? So we have to go back to our summary and figure out cocoa. It's 70. I think that is now where we're going to attack next. What constitute coffee and cocoa? So let's go back to our diagram and see coffee and cocoa. We already know that 30 is everyone, and then what does that show us? If 70% took both, and already we have 30, I mean coffee and cocoa right there. So that would mean for those who took both coffee and cocoa, cumulatively they're supposed to be 70, and 30 took everything. So that leaves us with 40 people who took coffee and cocoa only. All right, yeah. So I think we'll be taking it one step at a time. Then after that, let's get back to our summary again. Coffee, we had 110 people taking coffee only. Yeah, so that is easy. 110 people taking coffee only. We are getting close. 110 according to our summary. Then next, according to our summary, we also have 185 people who took cocoa only. So this is getting easier. 185 who took cocoa only. 185 who took cocoa only. And then the next, if we want to figure out tea, you see, that was the basis of our question, and we're getting closer. Now, those who took coffee and tea only, okay, those who took coffee and tea only, we are getting closer, and we've already figured out that should be 140. Okay, so if you have a question, I think you can ask on the comments. What does that leave us now? If everyone who took cocoa, how many people took cocoa in total? 325, and we already have 185 plus 70, so this is 40 plus 30 plus 185. Therefore, what are we remaining with? 70, so that we can get that particular total for cocoa. And we know that how many people took tea cumulatively? 245, and already we have 140. 30 plus 70, therefore we know that 5 people took tea only without mixing any other beverage. So this makes our work easier. If you look at our questions, now we already have the answers. 5 people took tea only according to our diagram, and those who took coffee and tea only are 140. Let me confirm that. Those who took coffee and tea only, coffee and tea only, coffee and tea only, 140. I think we got that correct. Those who took tea and coffee only, that is 70. Okay, yeah, I think we got it right. And then those who took none of the beverages. Wow, this is awesome. How did I get that 220? Now this is how I got it. You add all the numbers, those who took coffee, those who took tea, and those who took cocoa, and we deduct it from the total. Remember, initially the question stated very well that research was conducted for how many participants? We did conduct a research for 800 consumers. All right, so that would leave you with a balance of 222. Those who took none of the beverages. There are people who are outside the rectangle. All right, so otherwise this is a simple demonstration of how to understand sets and how to understand Venn diagrams. If you have more questions, kindly leave those questions on the comments below. Otherwise, if you enjoyed the video, kindly give it a thumbs up. See you next time. Bye bye.